think getting together in person is needed to create true industry transformation, because at the end of the day, we're just humans. And you need to connect with some other people and look them in the eye and feel that what they're saying is authentic and that that you believe in where it's going. And that's why I think those global convenings, conferences, also like the One Future State here, why they still really have a purpose, to get inspired by what you can maybe hear from somebody from stage, but more so to meet other peers. And there's a lot of things we can't solve on our own as individual businesses, where we do need to have a collaborative effort. So the saying that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go, far, you go together. I think also counts for those kind of meetings. That it's good to meet others and find others that you can collaborate with. I think what we learned from the many years of doing the global fashion summit was that there is more willingness to collaborate than we saw in earlier years. And probably the sustainability space feels like a safe space, a good place. There's other places you don't see as much, maybe marketeers working together, because it's more where your competitive edge, or in retail space, or, wherever you sort of meet your customers and have your sort of, where you want to differentiate. Designers don't work together so much either. But if you look at the sustainability space, or where we have our footprint and our impact, we really do need to work together. And for many industries, they often have the same supply chains. And they are often, especially for the small, medium-sized enterprises, they usually are one of many who use a factory or who does something. And actually working together there really makes sense to have more leverage. Yes, Pangaia is essentially a material science company. And I know that if you look us up, the brand fills up more and it looks more like we're a mono brand. But behind it still lies this big ambition about creating bigger transformation in the industry. And materials is basically what we came to the market with. We, for instance, have an IP, which is a product we've developed ourselves with. It's called Flower Down. So instead of taking goose and duck down from the poor animals, this is actually created from a leftover product from flowers, and it's turned into a pulp that is as warm as down, and it can be turned into plates, and we've innovated it over many, many years. We would love to see that, taken into many of the businesses who do puffer jackets instead of the cruel down and that comes from the animal. So, for instance, that is an open source. Companies can access that and purchase that from us, or we can co-develop products together. But we also help companies with their merchandise, for instance. So we also have a platform where we can create the products for companies using our material innovation, our vetted supply chains, and how we do things in a different way. So yeah, it is an open source as such, and obviously our price points are not for the fast fashion sector, because they're simply made better, and they are taking into account all of the externalities. So we are securing that the whole supply chain is covered from. So essentially it will be for the premium or the more luxury price points to start. But as innovations come to scale, it is with everything, right? Then prices can also go down eventually. So the business case for sustainability, I think, is pretty clear. Any company that sources natural resources, for instance, will find that anything that you can do to optimize and effectivize and use less is a good business case. So sustainability shouldn't be something you debate with your business as whether you can afford it. It's the only way to drive a business in today's world and in the world in the future, because everything will be more expensive or more complicated to make, but it's probably also going to be the only way that you can keep employees. So I would say that for any business who's looking at how can we do things different, it's simply because you haven't spent enough time looking at how you can actually optimize. So sustainability is really about how do we effectivize and optimize? How do we make things with less input but more impact? So I would say there's no excuse for anyone to start looking at it, and build that into the core of any business model. Thinking otherwise or not sort of contributing to sort of the bigger scope of where our planet is heading, we can't afford that, any of us.